Good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you listen to this. This is Dee with Older INFP-A Insights. And today I'm going to be talking about more about what Brendon at Psych Casserole had on his YouTube channel about friends and having friends and keeping friends. Something about friends. And I was going to put a comment on his YouTube channel and of my take, but then I didn't want to take up. It's his channel. I'm not going to take up space. I thought I could make a podcast out of this and do my own thing and just kind of elaborate a little bit more about what he was saying. And what he was saying is that we don't have friends older in life. We have, and it's true of any type, not just INFPs. And INFPs tend to have fewer friends than the majority of the 16 MB Myers-Briggs types, MBTI types, by choice, not by default, but by choice. And he was saying that statistically speaking, it's a fact that you have the most opportunity for friends and the most friends usually when you're growing up and you're in school. And after school it drops off, and then he went from after school to talking about the work environment, and then he talked about people end up passing away. And there's some things in between that, and then an insight I came to the other day after listening to this that I want to share with you, that from my perspective, which I'm almost twice as old, not almost, I don't know, about 80, 85, 90% older than he is, so I've lived a lifetime past what he has. He has some great ideas, and he is correct, and he was talking about holding on to people and reaching out, and that INFPs have to work hard at that, and we tend not to. We tend to just go about our day. And I know for me, the day goes by really fast. It seems like the morning goes slow, and then the next thing I know, it's time to go to bed, and I'm not ready to go to bed. The day goes by fast because we do get involved in our projects and live in our heads, and we forget about the world a lot of the time. And for me being retired, I don't have any place to be, especially every day. Like I'm not working. I don't do a 9 to 5, 5 days. Well, I never did a 9 to 5, but I don't work full time. I don't have a family at home. I don't have pets. I live alone. So I can do what I want to, and I don't try to have too much schedule. And I don't go by the schedule anyway. True INFP. So he was saying, make an effort to keep in touch with people, which is a good idea, and he has some good pointers. What I would say, and I think I'm going to say from a generational perspective and also from a gender perspective, because I think from society society does expect different expectations by gender. And I don't think that's just here in the States where I am. I think that's worldwide. And there's a gender difference. I won't say inequality. I'm not getting into politics or that type thing. I'll just say difference. So yeah, and perspectives. So the perspective may be a little bit different. I do agree with him about having the opportunities for friends, and you have the most friends when you are in school because you see them every day. And in college you don't see them every day, but you tend to or around people who have the same interests that you have because of your majors and your extracurricular activities. So yeah, afterwards what he didn't say that I'm going to add in here is I've found in my life that I got married right after, like 2 weeks after college, and I think that was probably an INFP thing. I won't go into details, but it was just like I didn't know what I was going to do, so I had the opportunity to get married and leave town, so I did. And that sounds crass, and I don't mean it that way, but when you're 20, you do a lot of things that are just not logical, practical, and I'm an INFP, and none of us are practical. So, so yeah, so I got married, and I found out, right after college, 2 weeks later, and I left the state for 6 weeks and ran out of money, had to come back home. But that was an adventure. But I found out that once I got married, and I was the first one in my friend group to get married, and I married somebody who didn't have any friends. His family was his friends. And he had just gotten out of the military, and he had a couple of friends in the military, but they were all over the country. So they weren't close by. But he had one that he did keep up with for a while. And I found out that when I got married that my single friends dropped me. So I had to go look for other married friends. And this is going to happen in your life. So don't give up hope like, oh gosh, I'm friendless again, I'm not worth anything, what am I going to do? You just have to go with the flow. INFPs are very good at going with the flow. That's what we do. So I found in my life that when I got married, my single friends dropped me. So then I found married friends. And we didn't do things as couples. Wasn't that kind of thing. I just had to find other women who were, and I found out too that I like being friends with both men and women, but then the married men, that's the whole thing. The married men would not be friends with me because of their wives. It's the whole thing. Whole big thing that I never thought entered my realm of being. So I made friends with women and married women. And then when you started having children, because I do have children, you start having children, then those who don't have children will drop you because you feel like you don't have anything in common. Then you've got to go find friends. You can keep the friends you have who have children. These are the rules of the game here of life. And I'm laughing now, but it was horrible at the time. Because it's hard for us to make friends. It's even harder to keep friends. And now we've got all these rules in society here. I'm hoping they have changed some. But I'm looking at my children who are now middle-aged and grandkids who are now the age I think my children should be, like high school and college. I really don't think the world has changed that much. So yeah, so those who don't have children will drop you. So you find friends who have children. And then I've been divorced, and I got divorced before divorce became popular. So I had to find friends who were divorced, which meant, and then you lose your friends. When you go through a divorce, you divide up your property, and part of the property are your friends. And so, yeah, you lose friends that you had as a couple. They're not going to be friends with both of you. It's a whole complicated mess. So then you find people. I had to find people who were friends, to be friends with, who were divorced women. And so on and so on. And then it got to the point where I had to support myself and the kids, so I just didn't worry about friends. I went through that phase of decades of taking care of myself and my kids, and I didn't socialize. I did not socialize at all, except at functions with the kids and holidays with the family. And maybe talk to a neighbor once in a while. I had no friends, but that was fine because my life was just overrun with scheduling, trying to schedule 3 kids. And I went back to school, went to a professional school for 2 years. I did all kinds of things. Didn't have time for friends until I retired, actually. So there were decades and decades in there. So now I'm finding in retirement, yes, a lot of people are passing away. It seems like throughout your life, a person or two may pass away here and there, but it seems like right now, in the past 2 years, it's just coming a big flood of people. Um, Gosh, I can think people I were close to, maybe a dozen or more. Just all of a sudden, a bunch of people. But in addition to that, the problem I'm having, and I really don't have friends now, I'm in my 70s and think, yeah, I'm free to go out and do whatever I want to do. I actually, for the most part, I'm physically healthy. I'd say I have all my original parts. Um, a lot of people my age have they have knee replacements. That's the thing, is knee replacements. They have arthritis. They have knee replacements. They have different things, spinal problems. Let's see what else people. They've had I've known. I live. In case you don't know, and I keep saying it, lovingly I will say this, affectionately I will say this. I live in an old folks home. It's senior housing. It's apartments. I just call it the old folks home. And I'm just going through seeing who does what. But and I've looked online. I've looked at meetup groups for people my age, around my age, who want to go out and do things, and Facebook groups. But they really don't want to go out and do things, but maybe go out to eat, and that gets boring to me. But I'm physical. I mean, I like to, and I do have. I will say I do have ME/CFS. Shortened version is chronic fatigue syndrome. I do have multitude that I got from COVID 4 years ago as a result of COVID 4 years ago. That's never going to get better. But I do have my bad days. I do have my good days. I have to arrange things on a day I feel good. So I have to do a lot of things. I have to take my nap. I have a lot of things that I have to do that are limitations, but as far as being able to physically do things, I can walk, I can go up and down stairs, I don't use a walker, I can go on road trips, train trips, I like to travel. I can't find anybody to do anything with. They say, well, yeah, I don't feel good, I got arthritis. Mine's muscular, I ache a lot. If you don't know what ME/CFS is, some people have compared it somewhat to fibromyalgia, which is not fibromyalgia, but if you're familiar with that, you know there's a lot of aches and pains that come and go with it. But I just work through it. If there's someplace I want to go, like take the trash out, I will do that. So I don't have friends right now because of two things. One, I can't find people who are at the level that I am, activity level that I am. And number two, which is more important, of a hurtful kind of thing, I would say, is that I'm finding or think that other people are jealous of me. If I ask people to, I quit asking, but when I used to ask people to go somewhere with me that wasn't too exhaustive, because I can't do exhaustive things either, and they're just like, well, I'm not as fit as you are, and it just kind of, I can't help it. I mean, I've always been this way. I've always been active, so yeah, I'm having trouble finding friends too. But the thing that came to me, and here's the crux, and I'll leave it at that. That's just a lifelong thing that's going to happen, but don't give up. Number one, don't give up. Don't hide in your room like INFPs tend to do. Don't crawl in your bed, be depressed. It is not you. Number one is that it's going to be harder for us. It is harder for us to have true friends, to have people who at least try to understand us, try to go with the flow with us. We do that for other people, but we don't get it back. I would say not to give up. What I do is I just don't deal with people who are totally, if they don't understand but I like them, I will hang around them. But if they don't understand and they criticize me, then I don't have anything more to do with them. And I don't care If they're family, a lot have been family, family, friends, wherever I go, I just walk away and I'm not going to deal with you. Because nobody needs to be put down and made to feel worse than we are. We know who we are. INFPs know who we are more so than a lot of the other types. And we know we're different. You don't have to tell us that. But don't give up. Find your tribe somewhere, and I know that's a pejorative word, tribe, but find your group, find your peeps. I like the word peeps. Find your peeps somewhere, whether it's online. I have a very active life online. I have people that I've kept in my life. I noticed for my Facebook page, I have all of 40 friends. I think that's a lot for an INFP. 40 friends on Facebook, and they are truly friends. I mean, I'm not one of these that are going to have somebody as a friend that I don't know who they are, or they're a friend of a friend of a friend of a cousin, or no. These are people I do know well, and there are 40 of them. But I took inventory not long ago, and I have to keep reminding myself that these are people in my life from all phases of my life. Um, there's there are several that I grew up in the same town I grew up in. I went to school with. Um, we weren't close, but we went to school together and grew up in the same town, same environment. Workplace. Don't have anybody from college, but I did have one, but she does. I don't know what happened about that. We got unfriended years ago, and she's just doing the games on there now or something. I don't know, but I did have one. But all of the places I've worked, and I've had a ton of jobs, all the places I've worked that I really enjoyed, I just realized that the other day that I have at least one Facebook friend from that place of employment that I really, really enjoyed. Um, that I was there during my career. So, yeah, I have.